The afternoon sky hung heavy over the hot asphalt of Incheon International Airport. The sun was already beginning to set westward, casting long shadows along the busy corridors of the departure terminal. The sound of flight announcements interspersed with the clatter of shuffling luggage, hurried footsteps, and the whispers of passengers hurrying to their gates. Amidst the hustle and bustle, there was one corner that stood out, a corner that felt like its own bubble, surrounded by tight security and deliberate calm. There sat 7 familiar figures awaiting their departure. BTS, 7 names that had filled the screens, filled the ears, and filled the hearts of millions of people around the world for years. But that afternoon, behind the glass doors of a VIP area reflecting the orange light of dusk, they were just 7 ordinary young men waiting for their flight. Some were looking down at their phones, some were leaning against the wall, and some were yawning deeply as they closed their eyes. Waiting time is everyone's worst enemy, even for those whose lives are filled with endless schedules. Kim Taehyung sat most anxiously. He always had. There was something about him that could never be completely still, an energy swirling behind his dark brown eyes, always searching for something that would make the world feel a little more alive. He tapped the toes of his shoes on the floor, twirled his headphones in his hand, and then stood up for the 3rd time in the last 10 minutes. Taehyung Jungkook, sitting next to him, glanced briefly, then returned to his phone screen. He was familiar with his Hyungsa knees. Taehyung stepped away from the group, simply to stretch his legs. The VIP corridor was quieter than the main terminal, but there was still the hustle and bustle of airport staff, the passing baggage carts, and the occasional small motorized vehicle the staff used to quickly get from one point to another. Taehyung watched it all with an eye always hungry for something new, and then his gaze stopped. In the corner of the corridor, a lone airport golf cart sat parked. Small, pristine white, with open seats and an inviting steering wheel. There were no attendants nearby. There were no conspicuous signs prohibiting entry. Just a small vehicle parked quietly, as if waiting for someone brave enough to climb aboard. And Taehyung, Kim Taehyung, was the one least likely to pass up such an invitation. The smile appeared slowly. Starting at the corner of his left mouth, it widened, forming an expression everyone close to him knew all too well, one that always signaled danger and inevitable pleasure. He turned to the other members, eyes sparkling. "Hyung, look at this." The call was loud enough to draw everyone's attention. Kim Namjoon looked up from the book he was reading, his eyebrows raised in a practiced motion, one that always appeared whenever Taehyung uttered the phrase in that tone. "Taehyung." Namjoon's voice was low, full of warning. "Don't mess around." But everyone in the room, even Namjoon himself, knew it was too late. Far too late. Taehyung had already approached the golf cart with confident strides, like a captain approaching his ship. He examined the steering wheel briefly, patted the seat, and then, with perfect, graceful grace, sat in the driver's seat. One foot was placed on the step, his left hand on the steering wheel, his head tilted slightly. He looked like someone born for this moment. Get in, he called, waving at the other members. Jungkook was the first to move, though with a half-disbelieving expression. There was something about Jungkook that always had a hard time refusing his Hyung's invitation, whether out of loyalty or because a part of him also wanted to experience the pleasure. Park Jimin followed with a chuckle. Min Youngi got up with a long sigh but kept moving forward. Young Hoseok nearly ran toward the vehicle with explosive enthusiasm, and Kim Seokjin, the oldest Hyung, stood shaking his head but couldn't hide the smile creeping onto his face. Namjoon took a deep breath, closed his book, and stood. "This is a terrible idea," he said in a calm, confident tone. But his steps toward the golf cart never stopped. They were all already aboard. 7 people in an airport golf cart that was clearly only designed for 4, maybe 5, passengers in the loosest conditions. The situation was absurd even before the engine was started. Jungkook sat right behind Taehyung, his shoulders almost touching the thin roof of the vehicle. Jimin was sandwiched between Hoseok and Youngi, while Jin and Namjoon somehow managed to hang onto the back. "All ready?" Taehyung asked in a loud, enthusiastic voice. "Not too fast," Namjoon said from behind, his voice already starting to sound regretful. Taehyung slammed on the accelerator. The vehicle lurched forward with a slight jolt, then began accelerating at a speed that, for an airport golf cart, felt far more exhilarating than it should have. A slight breeze blew across everyone's faces. And then, like an unstoppable chain reaction, the laughter began. Jimin cheered first, his voice ringing with joy in the deserted corridor. Hoseok followed with his trademark shout, his hands in the air. Jin laughed as he clung to the car, shouting something about this being the most thrilling experience of his life. Even Yoongi, the cool, collected Min Yoongi, couldn't help the wide smile that spread across his face as the vehicle rounded the first corner.